Hello everyone and welcome to PMeVIDYA channel. I am with you Dharmendra Singh. This session belongs to a webinar, and today we have a very important topic to be discussed about. If you have any questions, any query related to this, you can dial our number. You can see on your television screen 8800440559. Apart from this, you can also send your questions through mail as well. Official mail ID of webinar, which is training@cet.nic.in. To watch this program live, you can tune PMeVIDYA channel, and also you can see this program live on ncertofficial YouTube channel. Let me introduce the topic today, what we are going to talk about, which is artificial intelligence for education. So lots of things we are going to discuss today. That's why this session is very crucial. So if you have tuned in, no need to go anywhere. Before I introduce the expert today to whom we are going to understand all about this, let me tell you something about his success, about his achievements. Then we will get an idea that why this session is going to be very important. All right. So before I introduce him, he's involved in design of curriculum and development and textbooks and training molecules as well, and there are lots of it's a huge list we have got of his achievements. He also monitors on various teachers training programs of 16 CBSE centers of excellences. There you are. Besides of respecting CBSE in various national international and international committee for the holistic development of education. That is also an enormous thing, and he has also edited more than 75 books which are published by CBSE. And also he served as OSD Technical Education Government for Tripura, and he was also associated with Tripura Central University and National Informatics Center Government of India in various capacities. And also he has handled executions of various development projects of like World Bank, MHRD and Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, as well as research projects of AICTE and UGC, etc. And currently he is working as Director, Central Board of Secondary Education of India, CBSE. So please welcome Dr. Vishwajit Sahab. I welcome you, sir.
Thank you.
So today we are going to talk about artificial intelligence. Intelligence mean a lot. So why this term has been used, like I would say artificial intelligence. So first of all, if we can brief this topic to our audience, and then gradually we will proceed further.
Yeah, thank you. I think first of all, we need to look into the dynamics of changes at this point of time, because that one way this 21st century scale, other way that technology interventions, especially both in social sector and in human life, how it is effective. And ultimately, if we look into the national AI strategy or OECD-led recommendations on future skills, everywhere the technology is going to be a pivotal things which ultimately the new generations must understand. So with this logic, Central Board of Secondary Education has started thinking on new technology related curriculums and its inclusion in the school level. So AI and education, okay, now maybe we are thinking as a subjective view, but actually it is going to be the future tools through which underlining micro equations of academics will be stitched. So just to present my screen in terms of some understanding based on which Central Board of Secondary Education have started offering artificial intelligence as a subject in school curriculum. So those understanding I am just sharing with you all, so that the narrative can be well built before the teachers community and the parents and the students who are joining us through YouTube or other social media platform. They can also look into what make that CBSE to change this kind of decisions. So first I will just take back you to the national strategy for AI in 2018. And here, if you look into this specific sectoral presentations in terms of whether it is healthcare, travel and tourism, or media and entertainment, in every segment, how that estimations of applications, especially of the AI, in coming 3 years. So 3 years is already over. So at this point of time in 2021, how the industry behave. So that is a crucial factor which rather motivated CBSE to think differently, because 21 was a target in 2018. So we started offering the introductory module in class 9 from 2019 itself. So now from that policy of AI strategy to this is a very hot topic which all the educationist community and in fact the industry leader are also discussing on new education policy. Now if we look into this specific segment, AI disruptive potential in the workplace, I'm just reading because these are the policy directives and recommendation based on which we must think ahead. So one is how that education system should be posed to respond quickly, and other one is data is key fuel for AI-based technology, and it is critical to raise awareness on issues of privacy, law, standard associated. Now think of it, what way we are using it, how far we are concerned about our own privacy, especially while sharing our data, whether any medium of purchase we used, whether it is India-based organizations or the organizations running from the foreign soil. Without hesitations, we are sharing our data, and based on that understanding, the global company are ultimately looking into the dynamic behaviors of user, and in turn, they create a business policy out of pure dynamic behavior. And then at 4.25, if you look at mathematics and computational thinking, will be given increased emphasis throughout the school year. And activities involving coding will be also introduced in the middle stage. Now this 4.25 also we have implemented in total. So coding curriculum we just started from this year from class 6. Now that way, this mission of NEP is some way given us a thought based on which we are simply forwarding and designing curriculum for the future student, and which actually the future readiness behind it's always depend on how school activities are performed. Although mostly students are nowadays doing this schooling, that online schooling, so certain component definitely we are not able to experiment, but somewhere down the line, this particular mission critical one way with respect to the skill for the future. If you look into the McKinsey report or PwC reports, everywhere you will find even our NESCOM led presentations. So these are the certain sector of sense making, social intelligence, design mindset, cognitive load management, and virtual collaboration. These are the area, and virtual collaborations, in fact, so we are experimenting and experiencing everyday life. So 65% of the children who enter to the primary schools in 2016 will end up working job that don't exist today. And by 2030, more than third of core skill sets of the most occupations will be made of new skills related to emerging technology. And these are the area of experimentations, or rather how we can make AI ready citizen that's wholly depend on how we are doing our research and curriculum inclusions in this segment. So that AI is somewhere trying to bring new type of job role. So one-way trainers So, okay, one way there is a safety, huge safety for the teaching community, because of course they need to look into the dynamics of new challenges, but at least for them, if they are tech savvy and if they are trying to engage themselves towards a new profile in terms of learning, I think they would be well set. So language translator and natural language processing based trainer could be a kind of job role. So maybe now the trainers are training human beings, so there is a possibilities of training machine. So machine trainer on human behavior is a close watch which the new generation's learner is going to showcase, experience in even their classroom. So I heard in one Bangalore-based school, they have already started experimenting a kind of robot and teachers parallelly teaching, so that the classroom behavior also they have showcased that enormous changes in the behavior, and especially the young learner, their attention levels are also profusely transformed. So that may be a short span study which they have carried out for the sake of tools uses or robot uses, but maybe in future this could be the category wise some profession. And even if you look into the embedded technology, especially if you look into the all electronic gadgets, so one way that coding and embedding that kind of strategy is very much there. But besides this explainer role in terms of algorithm, forensic analyst, explainability strategies, and another new job role, of course, maybe we might heard as a sustainable development, but sustainer as a job categories could be a reality in terms of context design, in terms of AI safety engineers, and of course, ethics and compliance managers. So maybe ethics and compliance manager, these job roles are there in most of the industry, but these things are going to rule us in a different way, because ethic compliance is again, maybe if you look into the way back, the history, what way the war used to happen, there was a rule of any kind of war. But now, if that changes are there in the war field, maybe India-Pakistan border or India-China border, or even that the border of other countries, how it would be managed if ethically you are trying to hand over the responsibility of soldier to machine or robot, and if AI-based technology is going to play the role of game, so it would be a kind of video game which is really happening in the border porny area. So my request is, what way our educationists can make the student ready to look into this ethical behavior of the students, no matters how powerful the technology is, but beyond humanity, there should be certain rule of the game which we must adhere, and whatever, whether it is trainer, explainer, or sustainer, every job profile must look into the emotional and ethical aspects of a human being. So that way, AI readiness for new human-machine partnership or human-centric, we call from the Government of India Ministry of Electronics and IT, there was a program launched that is a responsive AI. So here we call it as a responsible AI. So how the new generations would be responsible and ethically correct, that integrations is also very much crucial at this point of time. So nobody will disagree that AI is in need of the hour, but how we can make our generations ready with this AI-driven economy. So there is an urgent requirement of holistically including AI in the curriculum. As in many forums I used to pronounce, there is one agenda, the entire nation passes through the school, not through the university or colleges. And that you can validated with the gross enrollment ratio. So that means wherever we are or wherever we want to go, some way, this factor of importance of AI, we must understand so that technical related skill to apply AI in our daily ball game can be perfectly conceived by the student community. And this is the only reason. So strategy, AI strategy, future job role, but relying on the importance of AI, CBSE started offering AI curriculum in school so that not as a user or not as a consumer, we are learning AI, but also how we can be a stakeholder of future policymaker decisions. So AI is no longer notion, but it's reality. It is important that our educational systems must expose students updated technology and their uses. So how to build these AI-ready generations? There are many ways from the side of that Government of India, that positive encouragement we have received, and none other than Honorable Prime Minister, who had launched this AI for all. So AI for all is a public awareness program on AI. So it is one of its kind program. So for momentarily, let us forget it is out of the school curriculum, college curriculum, or no curriculum at all. But it is a public awareness program. Any citizen in India can go through certain hours on CBSE platform to understand what is AI and how it is going to change the dynamics of industry, economy, and human life. So this program was launched by Honorable PM, and my humble request, and it is done on July 29th this year. So my humble request, those who have joined us virtually, please go to CBSE website and look into. So it would be more informative than even participating discussions with me. So that particular program is specially designed for any individual. And the beauty of the program, let me also take one more minute on that, it is readily available in your mother tongue. So 11 languages, besides English, 11 Indian languages, you can take the course on any language of your choice. So that way, that AI, how effective it is, you can definitely look into. So my humble request to all the viewers to look into this AI for All program and participate and take badges and certificate on it. I'm just giving a glimpse of this particular program. Now, coming back to our K-12 sector, AI education, AI as a skill subjects, we have started from class 9. So at class 9, any student can opt it as a subject, 6 subject, also in class 10. And the beauty is that if students fail any of the main academic subjects, I should not tell, but maybe if as a part of the information or as a part of the package, I must mention here. So if a student fails in science, maths, or social studies, but passed in AI or any other skill subject, they would be promoted to the next higher grade. So 9 to 10, as well as 10 to 11. And the Python program is also very much as a part of integrated package. And besides this, as an introductory module, student from class 6, they can also opt AI as a subject, and here the total notional hour for covering the subject is hardly 12 to 14 hours. But in case of class 9 and 10, it is 210 hours we are offering. And you can look into this particular website. All the material related to our program, both curriculum, textbooks for teacher and student are readily available. Similarly, at 11, we are offering as a subject, as elective subjects, 11 and 12, and as AI as a project activity can be opted by any student at 11 as well as at 12. So the project activities, why we are just trusting, because if you look into one way, one can dream for Nobel Prize or creating an impact socially, but at this point of time, the young brain, they are critically developed to bring new innovations in the real life problem. And these things we have experimented already with some students who have already filed patent out of our last 2-year experiment. So think of it, whether it is data science, computer vision, everywhere they try to experiment. And believe me, many of the engineering college students also not able to compete with them in terms of knowledge, in terms of their application of knowledge in real-time problem solving, because that's the confidence our young students have. So just let me read out that walking stick equipped with a camera to aid blind people in their day-to-day activity. So students are thinking for an inclusive society, and at the same time, AI-enabled assistant support autistic patients overcome social and communication challenge by helping them understand the sentiment from a conversations in real time, leading to better interaction. And predicting suitable locations for sustainable electronic power plant intelligently. So just look into what kind of projects they are doing. And these are the students from very elite schools to Kasturba Gandhi girls' schools and the government schools, both from the rural area, affordable schools in the rural area, and also students from elite schools in urban area. So it's a mixed model. It is not a kind of mindset, AI is meant only for the urban diaspora. No, it can be taken irrespective of the language barrier or whatever socioeconomic condition. AI educations should not stop at any point, or there is no boundary limit. So, and these things we are sharing based on our true experience with our student. And both student and parent, they have supported along with the teachers and principal. Because this entire stakeholder community, if we look into the behaviors of the student, teachers, student, parents, and parents, teachers, and parents in school, they're crucially important. And maybe someday our students are going to work upon the based on one case study or one patent they may file on the behavioral changes aspects of how school communicate, how educational institute communicate with the parents, and how far we are able to discuss and transfer the knowledge from educational institute to household. So I think these dynamic changes are going to overrule. So AI education, until now, it was as a subject. But initially, I try to focus on AI in education is not only a subject, because AI is a kind of tools which every citizen must use for different kind of activities. So here, what CBSE tried along with the Intel, that AI in education, how we can really integrate the pedagogy. Of the subjects, you forget about AI as a subject, how in Hindi AI could be a positive use case, how in mathematics we can use AI. So all those dynamic changes are being brainstormed by our academician and a good set of subject matter experts with professional AI coach. They have brought this manual. So again, I am requesting these pedagogical integration in cross-cutting area are very much available at CBSE website. So again, I am requesting, look into this and then comment, then try to use these things on your own. It is not a autonomous driver kind of thing, but definitely your autonomy, bringing the AI into it, can bring so many laurel in the education system. So once again, I am requesting to look into this thing. The last one here, again, this AI in education, as Honorable PM has launched, so these things are already there in the Diksha portal, which is managed by NCERT. And again, these cross-cutting integrations, if we look into the class-wise, how these problem-solving approaches are there. So please look into this particular slide. So at class 6, how the living organisms behaves. So we used this natural language processing and microorganisms, friend and foe. This is AI project case study. Similarly, introductions of trigonometry, again, these NLP applications. Probability, this is a model prediction. So in totality, NEP talks about this computational thinking. So how you can segment the basic computing mechanisms in your pedagogical behavior, that is very much crucial at this point of time to decide by every educationist. Because you think your classroom as a problem, maybe you can treat it as a computational problem. So today's class on physics is a computational problem. So if it is a computational problem, that means you have to define that problem. So learning outcomes or lesson plan, you define. And in that lesson plan, whatever you are doing, that could be an algorithmic approach like this may come out. And ultimately, whether this algorithm work in the real-time classroom or not, that you can visualize, you can simulate that thinking. Whether in your physics class set of 40 is what way they are going to react on this kind of delivery of your physics derivatives. So my request, and after that, through that feedback mechanisms, you can correct yourself. And from that, automatically a knowledge base will come out. So through which you can tell, yes, it's a computational problem. And now, coming back to AI in education, so okay, we have taken it as a computational problem as a class, but the classroom at Delhi or classroom at Leh or classroom at maybe Salem in Tamil Nadu, what way that behavioral changes? So uniformly, one can manage the 3 classrooms. The children are unique, and at the same time, teachers are also unique, and the environments are also unique. So you have to systematize, and more intelligence, if you can brought out of it, there you can put the AI in classroom. So based on the situation, the human-to-human interactions, how a machine can bring some new intelligence which would be usable by the same human user. So I think there we need to intervene. There we might do a lot of research, because till date, whatever we are using, this is a narrowed versions of AI. So our teachers community, if wholeheartedly participate and make a strong use case as a data emissions methodology, then I think in future that individualistic learning mechanisms would be more crucial, and for individual child, you can create a profile, and as a teacher, you can look at how AI is helping you to create the profile and where are the gaps. Now, too many this notebook and other assignment, and also cross-checking the project-based learning, individually you have to look into. But here on the backbone, systems can help you where actually you need to intervene. By the times, today's systems, by the times you intervene, they are already crossing over from class 6 to 7. And only bit of knowledge as a class teacher, you are sharing with this class 7 class teacher, and he or she is also, if there are huge information loss in between, and ultimately the profile is there in the class teacher's brain, not coming into the reality, and parents, student, they don't know what kind of intrinsic behavior or what they want to be. So with this, let me pause here. So because AI in education, broadly, we can bring so many dynamisms, so many participatory approach to look into the same problem number of times with multiple kind of solutions.
Absolutely great, and you have explained all possible aspects of education as we are talking about artificial intelligence. But still, we have got some issues to be talked about, sir. If we can put you one by one, application of artificial intelligence, like in education, can be difficult for in those areas. You know, especially we are talking about the regional sectors for teachers. So digital coverage is going to be a big challenge for them. So can you suggest some ways to overcome, this problem? If we can get this, narrate this, some solutions to those teachers as well who are doing great job, especially in regional sectors.
Yeah, first of all, again, coming back to your AI for all, it is anybody through their mobile phone or through their desktop, or even with the poor connectivity, they can go through these particular books. And moreover, for the sake of this AI as a subject, as I have already mentioned, that it is not the, maybe for time being, these bandwidth issues and other things are would be flagged up by some student or some community. But overall, the huge infrastructure, whatever way we have, because at this point of time, we have already signed a memorandum of understanding with AICT. So many engineering colleges are coming forward to help. Similarly, with digital-led ITI, they are also coming forward to help the CBSE school. So that way, and even that Common Service Centers Academy, and they have also a very good bandwidth. So over a period of time, existing infrastructure, what best way we can use, that should be our focus, instead of bringing new infrastructure. And even most of our CBSE schools, they are well connected, except few hilly or certain area which are disturbed by natural disaster in a way. So except those few pockets, most of the CBSE schools are well connected. And that has been already, we have taken some survey data also there also. But gradually, our discussions today is not limited only for the CBSE school. How state board schools, state-run schools, and whether it is private or publicly funded, can come forward to take this AI as an education. So wherever you want that CBSE's help and support, so that neighborhood NEP's cluster of schools concept could be encased, and CBSE has a good hub of learning model where multiple 4 to 5 schools are collaboratively working for a common cause. Similarly, 30 to 50 schools group, they have a good Shahodaya. So if any state-run schools which are not covered under CBSE affiliations or other things, then they can ask for assistance from the CBSE. We are open. The same curriculum, if required, we are ready for translations into multiple Indian language, which officially we offer at CBSE curriculum. So that is possible, and including the teachers training. So whatever the point you raise, how to remove this one way, that digital, partially digital divide, and how every stakeholder can take up. I think that way we both CBSE and NCERT together, we can bring a solutions for that.
Absolutely. So whosoever watching this program through NCERT official and also through the television, if you have any questions, you can still ask. We have Dr. Vishwajit Saha with us. Virtually he is connected with us. So all right, sir, so let's move further. As we all know, due to this pandemic, the role of teachers is going to be very, very challenging. It has already been, if I would say. So there are certain still challenges there. So how they can, maintain that balance? So if I ask you, how can a teacher maintain balance between need of AI tools in education and also safeguarding the privacy and security of sensitive students' data?
Yeah, in fact, we have signed agreement with Intel, IBM, and also we are going to sign agreement with Microsoft. Now, one way data sensitivity is or data privacy is a critical issue every organizations must look into. Now, student data here does not mean that you are giving the PIC, a mobile number, or micro credentials of every student just to cross-check any AI applications. You can create an identifier, you can create one number. In the backdrop, you know what is the meaning of that number. So the codification is highly possible without sharing any real-time data with any organizations. Now, the point related to the AI application, suppose maybe every schools are capturing the video footage, or maybe through their CCTV footage, what way students are coming and what way they are going. And sometimes classrooms are also captured. So from that also, there are huge experimentations one can do. This is, of course, real time within the boundary. And similarly, there are so many organizations, and it's not kind of philanthropic, it's already freeware readily available, and free data sets are also available. So only thing is that you have to identify, and for that, CBSE in collaborations with Intel and IBM, we organized multiple teachers training program on AI implementations. So my request, whether you are teachers from CBSE affiliated schools or from other board, if it is from other board, you can write to your respective authority to write to us. We can separately conduct a special program on AI implementations, and if need be, introducing these tools, freely available tools, which without hesitation, without safety protocol, you can use for experimenting. And the way student did all kind of, including patent filing, is a very big thing. So already they are doing, and no paid platform we have ever used. These are all freely available, open source, which are readily available. If list require, I can separately share the list with NCERT. Those who are writing us email, you can write to me also, or NCERT. Both way we can reply and respond. What are the freely available tools? We can name a few, but instead of naming a few, because there are plenty. So some site, respective sites, some tools name, their details, how to use it. All those things can be shared with you, and you can also cross-check our this AI manual, which are freely available in CBSE academic website. There are also micro details of all those tools readily available. You can look into and try to use it maybe fearlessly, and also look into, if there is a confusion, you join us our AI program, again free of cost, and later on, if you want to be master or coach, for that also we have a special program, and all programs are free of cost. So anytime, of course, maybe every month, multiple program for teachers and students we organize. If from other board, if we can fit in, we'll try. If not, maybe a specific or specialized program for you can be organized. Thank you.
Right, so respected teachers, that's how you can make some balance between in these two, that question which has been asked. Sir, we have got huge traffic on NCERT official YouTube channel as well, so I'm going to pick some questions from there. I've got Mr. Prashant Kumar Pandey, who is basically a research scholar, and what he's asking, what are CBSE planning to use some of the AI technology that can be uses in CBSE classes in school level teaching?
Yeah, first of all, we are having a huge repository of data, and that too also exam related data. And now AI, we are actually thinking that under that shuffle program, there would be certain level of testing, that is competency based testing for class 3, 5 and 8 students. So the academic outcomes and their agility, their skill profile, we will try to build using AI gradually. So this is one aspect, and other aspects from the examinations also, we are open if a researcher or any startup, they approach us to do some kind of experimentations. So with real time or some maybe marks data, we are open for that. So there are enormous applications we are thinking, and already we are doing something. Mm-hmm. Already we are doing, especially in our this employee applications created by our own IT department. There are a lot of AI-based applications are there, but gradually we will try to penetrate how school can be benefited out of it. The third one is school quality assessment and accreditations. There also we want to use AI application so that the grading of schools quality on multiple parameter manually or even through the systems if you do, there is a possibility of miss out. And later on, and even if you look into, of course, this is it would be high sounding at this point of time, because NCERT and CBSE, we can also plan, because the Teachers Award is completely up to certain level, it's a completely automated one. Mm-hmm. There also we can apply AI applications to choose right teachers for the award based on the fact sheets, whatever algorithms we are going to design. So AI can help us in that dynamic front also.
Right. So we have got 10 minutes left now. So let's pick one more live question, sir. Is there any program to train government school teacher on such courses so that we can train our students simultaneously in the same way if they will be teaching, through any activities or through any courses for school teachers especially?
There are a lot of activities and mostly in the initial year, our experimentations we carried out firstly with the government schools. And it is none other than Johor Navodaya Vidyalaya, Kendriya Vidyalaya and state-run school. So if you look into in far-flung area of Sikkim, Arunachal, the state-run schools are offering AI. And we have created a lab, and similarly Navodaya Vidyalaya and KB. So different type of government schools are also there. So we are open, and if any institutions or any organizations, they want to adopt the way we did, and not only, let me also tell you, CBSE model is being rather replicated by other countries, because CBSE, we can proudly tell, could be the first board in globally introduce AI as a full-fledged subjects in school curricula. Mm-hmm. So our model of implementation has been copied by now Taiwan is trying to replicate, and other nations are also looking in how they can customize and offer to their nation. And similarly, our offering through this webinar, if any state runs schools, not under the ambit of CBSE want to offer, they can collaborate with the neighboring schools, and if any assistance help required from the CBSE headquarters, please write to me.
Right. So, but sir, the role of the AI in education sector, that is absolutely magnificent and phenomenal. But still, AI is also seen as a threat in the light of job I would say automation. So, how will it impact, especially the teachers in the future? If I would ask about.
So, if you correctly look into my presentations, the trainer, sustainer, their roles are quite significant, and they are that way static. So not that much of threat. Either you are going to train the human or also to the machine parallelly. Only thing is that you have to change yourself, so that you have to adapt the new technology, and mainstreaming it is very much essential. But you see that Industry 4.0 and later on Industry 5.0, we can't stop. There are threats, definitely. We can't forego. There are threats in using social media. There are threats in using this mobile or other handheld device. But how many of us have stopped using? Because unknowingly, we are connecting with a ocean from individual to a society where we are surrendering ourselves. Maybe sometimes for the sake of humanity, for the sake of other existence, people talk about it. People talk about the relevancy of machine. It is crucially need to be internalized and thought how much you are going to allow to machine to rule you, or you are going to rule the machine. So these human and machine level interactions, there is a limitation, there will be limitations, but as a human, how much you want to be digital or how much you want to remain as analog, every individual need to decide. And here with the individual, the respective appropriate government, both state, nationally and globally, need to create a benchmark how far we have to accept the AI in education, AI in human life applications, and without that benchmarking, there would be, I think, equality and a kind of environment, a kind of thinking-based analogy. People will not only surrender, they will be victim out of this kind of systems. So it is now, I should not say the kind of nuclear fusions, its applications as a nuclear bomb or AI as a technology for future well-being. At the same time, there is a threat. So my request as an individual, the decisions lies in your hand. It is not by means of avoidance, but accepting up to what level. So all the national government, like an international forum of climate change, I think for AI regulations also, it is high time to already some nations, some policy, international policies are there, but more and more we have to be vocal, unlike a kind of AI treaty kind of things should be there, so that applications, whether it is Industry 4.0 led or 5.0 led mission, but somewhere that boundary need to be built up so that machine should not seize our freedom. Thank you.
Right. When you talk about any particular tool, so nowadays we see plenty of platforms claiming about AI backed free. So there is always been a possibility to ask about authenticity about a particular tool. So if I ask you how to verify the authenticity of this kind of tools, so actually we need to get this answer because it's $1 million question, and everybody keep asking in every webinar sessions when we talk about any particular tool.
It's a very simple procedure. Anything, whenever we go to the web domain, there are a lot of freeware, free offerings, so many things. Even junk mails are also coming with that fashions of lottery. Similarly, for AI-free applications, so first and foremost to cross-check if you are discussing with the community. Suppose CBSE has a AI for community, now AI for all. I forgot to mention that AI for community is again another venture through which there is a forum of independent thinker, be it student and teacher. They're coming up with the solution. So you can pose these kind of questions there, and we, along with the tool's name, how far it is free, partially free. So somebody like Google search will work behind that and come up with your perfect answer. This is if you ask and pose these questions to the forum. The second one is at least you try once. It's very simple. And then it's like a multiple career counseling website. So if you log into that site, it will lead you different kind of blogs. And every blogs will demand you to register. So if every blog will demand you to register or to ask you to give the credit card details, even if it is free, then try to forget this kind of information. No need.
Right, so we are already in the phase to wind up the session, but before we wind up, so let's take a very quickly live question once again. Can't we collaborate with technological institutes to build, teach boots and AI technology for educational purpose? So what is the government planning in this field?
So I can say about CBSE, or if you ask me the government questions, then definitely the new education policy has already created a roadmap for every educational institute. So be it in school educations or higher education. Mm-hmm. So collaboration is and look also parallelly looking into the 21st century. So collaboration is a mantra which every individual educational institutes and organization in vicinity who are actively engaged in this kind of technology inclusion, I think we must collaborate, and both academic and technical and professional institutes together. And besides this, how that collaborations can also be extended with the service-led industry. Because crucially, the problem can be discussed in the classroom. But if you allow students to do internship, then the real-time problem connections would be there. And later on, if you allow them to do kind of apprenticeship, I think they would be the real-time problem solver. So transforming, first of all, from normal student to a thinker, then problem thinker, then solving the problem on their own and collaboratively with the industry apprenticeship model. I think that will lead us to a situations where we can really dream for a AI-ready citizen in India, because demographic dividends advantage somewhere down the line, because till now it is a narrow way, I am repeating, but the graph what I have shown, their massive applications are yet to come. The organizations, whatever I have named, and the big leaders in software industry, whether Infosys and other TCS or other Indian industry, Wipro for the sake, Accenture, all are actually trying to build up a big systems through which this AI technology can be embedded and bring lot of solution. And for that, data cleaning and data set readiness is a huge area of intervention. And unlike call center activity, if we can make our citizens ready, the AI labeling job also could be a reality after 5 years, or even for the sake now also, because intelligence behavior based on real-time data, human emotion, these things are less captured. Very few instances are there, and very few companies are invested in that. When it would be a reality, means massive investment will come, and huge manpower requirement would be there. And that way, that collective effort of professional institute, university, and school would be in a win-win situations.
Right, so that's it for this session because we don't have much more time. So thank you so much, sir, as you have given your valuable time. Thank you so much for being with us. Dr. Saha.
Thank you. Namaskar for
And
inviting me.
We are extremely grateful because
Yes.
of your immense knowledge and intellect, the way you enlightened us, and definitely whosoever watching this program, they will definitely be benefited by this session. So thank you so much once again for your valuable time, sir.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
And thank you so much all the viewers for your participation, the way you were participating here, asking questions, your queries, that was absolutely phenomenal. Keep watching PMeVIDYA channel like this and participate in the same way. Next is enhancing healthy and positive communication under this IU program in just a short while. Stay tuned.